So welcome everyone to our first session of finishing school. This is a small lecture series where we're going to talk about all the bosses from all the way from Black Mage to Limbo. In today's session, we're going to cover Black Mage Phases 1 and 2, just to kind of break off Phases 3 and 4, since some of the mechanics are a little trickier in 3 and 4. We're just going to learn the basics of Phases 1 and 2. So if you haven't already, remember to assign your roles in the Discord. It's just the roles channel. We have a ton of roles for like bossing or community events. You can get notified every time someone uses one of these pings. For example, if they do like at Black Mage or something, you'll get the ping to find parties or carries, whatever have you. In terms of Black Mage itself, it's super simple. To find out if you're ready for Black Mage, make sure that you check your Maple Scouter. That's it. I've just outlined some of the levels to make sure that you are of level. Today specifically, we're just going to talk about hard mode. So as long as you're in the 270 range, you should be all good for the fight. Make sure you also have... I'm sorry?
People say to use Maple Scouter. I have no idea what that is.
Okay. Maple Scouter is a website. It's a Korean website that uses community information and like all these formulas to basically tell you what percentage of damage you will do to the boss in the full amount of allotted time. Or we can make a separate video talking about that, but essentially just know that it's kind of like a damage check and to kind of see where your progression is in game. Some of the numbers will tell you exactly how you compare to somebody else versus looking at combat power, because combat power is not a great indicator of strength.
It doesn't tell the full story, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Great question. And make sure that you have 1320 Arcane Force. You cannot hit an extra bonus in damage in Black Mage, unlike the other Tenebrae or Luo bosses, specifically because the multiplier for Black Mage caps out at 1.1. That's with event stats and extra points into your hyper skills. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's actually get into the fight itself. The very first mechanic that we need to talk about that persists throughout the entire fight is the curse system. You've probably heard about it if you've seen the fight before. There are two curses, the destructive curse and the creative curse. We just call them black and white curses. I cannot emphasize this enough. Just remember, every time we talk about it, you will almost always be in black curse. I'll explain why a little later, but just remember, you're almost always going to be in black curse. And all of these curses have pros and cons to them. Unfortunately, because you're most of the time in Black Curse, you cannot heal because there's a potion block, but in turn, you do more final damage, and you get a little more damage taken when you get hit by an attack. If you are in White Curse, you can heal, but your damage gets decreased, and there's a small orb that will explode around you every few seconds, doing a little bit of damage if you don't pay attention too much. Just remember, you are almost always in Black Curse. And the curse system relates to how many lives you have. You will have 12 lives, indicated by this little icon that you could kind of drag throughout the screen. There are 12 dots in here indicating how many lives you have, but think back to Vihila, how the skulls don't necessarily represent HP deaths. Sometimes those can be taken away with strings, right? Same concept here. If you take two of different curses, for example, if I'm always in Black Curse and I get hit by an attack that does White Curse, I will lose one of my 12 lives. That's what's called a curse death. A curse death or an HP death can result in you losing one of your lives. Sometimes if you get curse death, that almost always means that you get HP death immediately after. So, a great way to remember it is if there are two curses of the same color. If I'm in Black Curse and I get hit by an additional attack of Black Curse, I'm okay. Everything's all good. I can continue fighting as normal. If I am in white curse and I get hit by an attack that has a white curse, I'm okay. Everything is all right. I can attack like normal. But if I am in black curse and get hit by a white curse attack, I'm going to lose one of my 12 lives from a curse death. Additionally, with that curse death comes a skill lock. So what happens is there's the snowball effect, right? You get curse death, you're locked, making you unable to teleport or flash jump or anything like that, and you're not able to get out of harm's way. You're likely going to take another death, which means 2 of your lives will be taken away most of the time. The best way to mitigate that is obviously not get hit, but that's asking for a lot because there's a lot going on in this fight. Use your will skills. I know a lot of people up to this point in the game haven't assigned these skills to their keyboard. They're called different things depending on your class, but most people call them will skills because it's Hero's Will and Urda Will. What these do is they prevent a status being inflicted on you for a few seconds before you get hit by something. So for example, if I am in Black Curse, I preemptively see that something that has white curse is coming towards me. What I can do is I can be in Black Curse, hit my will skill button, get hit by the white attack, and I'll actually be okay because the will skill prevented me from getting the white curse. So basically it's just Black Curse the entire way through. And vice versa, right? Like if I'm in white curse, I see something of Black Curse that's going to hit me, I hit will skill, I'm still going to be okay because I am still in white curse. So,
wait, so does it like remove the skill? So like you're in Black Curse, you get hit, you use will, then you get hit by white curse. Do you like then gain white curse, or do you like, or is it just like you keep Black Curse, but you just don't die because you don't technically gain white curse?
Good question. You have to press the button before for you to not get the curse. So what that means is if, I'm just going to use the same example, if I'm in Black Curse right now and I get hit by a white curse attack, I'm still going to get curse death. But if I use the will skill in between that, like I see the white attack coming, then I'll be safe because it essentially puts you at just Black Curse at base. You're not going to get inflicted with the status of white curse. If you use it after you get hit by both attacks, yes, you remove the seal that you get from a curse death, but you will still take the curse death. Does that answer your question?
Like so like I'm in Black Curse, I use will, then get hit by white curse, then like I'm still in Black Curse though at the end of it.
Yes, that works because you will still be in Black Curse. Assuming you got Black Curse before, you are not going to take the white curse. You will only take the HP of whatever hit you. That usually inflicts white curse.
All right, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, we'll go into more depth about that when we actually do the demo. It's a lot easier to see it in action than it is to say it. So I wanted to break down what exactly gives black and white curses. You can use this as a cheat sheet later when the video is uploaded. But there are a lot of things you have to remember that give specifically black curse and give specifically white curse. The main things that give black curse that are important are black knights, chains, eyes, lasers, and angels. And the white curse items are the white knight, the whites, which are the meteors, the rollings, the spikes, the kick, and the platform creation or destruction. Some of these will not appear, some items will only appear in some phases, some are persistent throughout the entire fight, so just make sure that you sort of remember. You can use this again as a cheat sheet for when we actually go into the fight. So let's talk about P1. P1 specifically has 2 knights. When you load in, they're going to spawn parallel to you. You're going to be in the middle of the 2 of them, and those 2 will spawn in. they have 3 separate attacks, including the swing, the rush, and the dive. It's pretty easy to tell exactly which curse each one gives because they correspond literally with the colors. So if you get hit by any of these 3 attacks, the swing, the rush, or the dive, you will receive the same curse as its color. So for example, I get hit by the dive of the Black Knight, I will get the black curse, and vice versa. If I get hit by the swing of the White Knight, I'll get the white curse. All these attacks are bad. Try not to get hit by them. That's all I gotta say about that. But they have pretty easy indicators to tell you exactly where they're going to land. For example, the dive, you can see that they hover above the ground a little before they actually plunge. It's kind of like Dark Now, same concept. Same thing with the rush. They're going to pull their swords out and then actually plunge. And the swing, same thing. There's a slow pause between the chain actually coming out. The more important thing is to remember that you are permanently in Black Curse. The reason why is these chains right here. These chains are going to exist in phases 1 and 2, and they're going to hit you because they are homing attacks. Whenever you see this GIF, that means you're going to be targeted because you're a paparazzi, you're famous, and they want you, right? These chains can get really annoying, not just for the Black Curse aspect of it, but because they do 15% HP each chain that you get hit by in sets of 3 or 6. But because of latency, some people can experience up to like 9 chains at a time. You don't have to dodge every single chain, but it's a good idea to keep an eye out for your character in the peripheral, just kind of see like, oh yeah, there's a chain coming for me, I should scoot into a position. They're going to home in on a position that you were previously standing on. So if I'm right here, I see that a chain is kind of hovering towards that spot that I was standing, I can flash jump forwards towards here and be safe. But then a next set of chains, or a set chain is going to come towards me in that position. So I keep moving to prevent myself from getting hit by each chain that is coming. Each of these chains give Black Curse. You're going to get hit by one no matter what, so do not worry as long as you are attentive to which curse is above your head. Here's where things kind of get tricky and curse deaths start happening. In addition to the White Knight that gives the white curse, there are white meteors, we call them whites, that appear from top left to bottom right or top right to bottom left. They're really easy to dodge, but you have to get used to the timings. If you've been playing the new Lotus, they kind of function like the P2 debris where they fall in like one falls, the next one falls, the next one falls. Here's a little demo of what they actually look like. When I was first learning this fight, I stopped attacking entirely and just had to learn how to practice walking past them so I don't accidentally get hit. Once you're more comfortable with it, you can weave in your teleports, your brushes, whatever have you, to get past them without needing to interrupt your combat. These white meteors give inflict 50% HP damage and give you white curse. So if you get hit by a chain and you are Black Cursed, if you immediately get hit by a ball that lands directly on your head, you get white curse. That means curse death. So be very attentive to these. Another attack that happens in P1 is this lightning. A banner will appear saying Crimson Lightning lands a devastating blow and restricts movement. Lightning will appear throughout the stage, but have a little space in between them, as you can see with these otters right here. Simple concept, if you stand between, you should be completely fine. If you are on the lightning, you will immediately die because Black Curse inflicts more damage, it's 99% HP, right? The only way to get past it is through teleport, or if you have an iframe, you can use that iframe before and then hop past. It gets a little tricky when both of the knights come towards you, but most of the time you will not be encountering this, at least if you are one bursting, and I'll explain that in a second. Another thing that you will likely not encounter, but it does happen, is the Shrieking Wall. We call these walls. Every now and then, these walls will plunge upwards from each of the sides of the map. So there's going to be one wall that appears on the left side and the right side of the map together. And then the next set kind of come in. They're going to close the walls in so that the only place that you have to fight the two knights is in the middle. There's a lot of time, especially if you're partying, before these walls close in. So don't worry about this too much, but just know that you cannot stand in the far corners, the right or the left, for way too long because these walls will appear. Additionally, when the walls appear, a shield is going to appear on top of the knights. This shield functions like any other shield in any of the other bosses. It'll eat up some of the damage that you do. You need to break the shield before you can actually continue doing HP damage to the boss. Really easy way to know if a wall is coming up outside of the banner of the Shrieking Wall is look at the HP bar. If it's white, that means one of the walls popped up and your map just got a little smaller. So that was a lot to go through, and I went through it relatively fast because there's not a lot to this phase when you are fighting it in a party. The best way to know if your party is quote-unquote Black Mage ready is to have you all go into P1, test if your full burst can burst out of both of the knights together. Since most bossing attacks can attack up to like 2-3 enemies, most of them, what you are aiming to do is to do damage on both of them at the same time, essentially doubling your damage for any classes who can actually hit multiple mobs at a time with their bossing skill. So what a lot of parties will do, because they spawn into this middle area, is they'll have one person who is a dedicated binder. Everyone else is just going to be a regular attacker, and they're going to hop to the side of the map for the binder to do their thing. In order for the binder to do their thing, you need to make sure that you are not drawing any sort of aggro. Aggro means whenever a boss is targeting one specific player. How to prevent that is to make sure that you do not have your fams out, you do not have any sort of summons. This is the fire poison aura, where they can do continuous damage to mobs just by existing in that place. And this is Bahamut, a summon. Make sure that you do not have any of these things out. It's always good to double check before you go in. I usually say like, make sure your fams are off, make sure your summons are off, make sure your auras are off. Unless you are the binder. The binder is the person who is okay and encouraged to have these things. So, what will happen in this fight to make sure that you are attacking both of the knights at once is make sure that everybody who lands in is in the middle. The binder gets into the position right in front of the black knight, letting the white knight move forwards using a rush or just moving and binding them together, which is called stack binding. That means you're stacking both of them on top of each other and they're going to get bound together so everybody in the party can come attack both at once. How you prevent drawing aggro outside of having all these items off is the rest of the party will actually have to move to the right side. Pay attention to this background right here. There are two bulbous things in the background. You're almost never going to encounter the left one, so don't even worry about that one. There's a bulb on the right. Whenever you hop in from the middle, you're going to hop right. You see this bulb, and you're going to end up towards the right side of it. More experienced players can end up on the left side, but I tend to see that newer players try to do on the right side because this can draw a little bit of aggro from the black in the off chance that it does. The rest of the party will be on the right side of this bulb in the background. They're going to wait for the binder to say, I bound both bosses, bound, whatever have you. They're stacked. They will say that. And everybody from that side will hop over to where the knights are bound with the binder and burst together. Again, make sure that you are damage testing with your party. If you can all burst both of the knights at once and get out in one burst, you're like more than ready for this fight. Sometimes if it's like 80 or 90%, you need a little chip and you have to deal with the lightnings or the walls or whatever, that's fine, but you can start losing a lot of lives because attacks can get really tricky to dodge with everything that's going on in here. So here's an example of what that will actually look like, stack binding. As you can see, this person bound both of the knights and then origined immediately. You know, like if this were a demo, they would do 10 seconds after their bind, they would origin to make sure that they're bound for as long as possible. You have 20 seconds to attack. You and your party members may take a few seconds to walk in from the right side. It gives you 15 seconds still, at least, to burst out. I find that moving, me being the binder and moving slightly to the right is the best way to stack them. But I've also seen some people, and there are other demos on YouTube if you ever want to look at them, hover in the air and blink, letting the white one dive towards the black one, and then binding it as they drop from the air to the ground. That works too. Whatever strategy works best for the person who is in charge of binding, use it and let your party know ahead of time. I also want to mention that some classes may opt to use origin binds before they use regular binds. What that means is like some classes have additional effects during their burst that require them to origin bind first. That's okay. If you are the binder, you get to tell your party what you are going to do. And your party, you know, like just has to follow along. Make sure that you're all bursting together. That's phase 1. Really simple. Phase 2 is where things get a little trickier. So remember, we're going to call back to some of the mechanics from phase 1. This is going to be a recurring thing for all of the bosses that we covered in this series. They're all going to have recurring mechanics throughout their phases. Again, the chains will happen and you will get Black Curse from them. So always assume that you are permanently in Black Curse. Completely okay, you can manage. The white meteors, the whites, will also happen in this phase, so make sure that you are practicing walking through the blank space between them as they drop. These will inflict white curse. Some of the new attacks is Black Mage is going to appear in the center of the map. You're actually going to be fighting Black Mage instead of the Knights. Anytime that you stand on top of him, he's going to inflict a little bit of touch damage. This is not a huge deal except for a single scenario. So just keep that in the back of your mind. We're going to revisit this in a little bit. The chains, again, will appear, but this time there will actually be an indicator telling you when they appear. Black Mage is going to raise his hand. I'm going to say on screen left side, so that, you know, like technically it's his right arm, but, you know, on screen, I see him raising that hand to the left. That means he's going to start doing chains. And this gets a little trickier in this phase because up to 13 chains can spawn at once, depending on your latency. So it's important to dodge as many as you can, but don't worry if you get hit by like 1 or 2. If the other hand is raised, my screen on the right side, he's going to inflict blindness. This is the same thing as like gloom. When your gauge is full, you have limited visibility in your screen. It's not a huge deal, right? Like I can still kind of see attacks. I can still see chains happening. It's a bigger issue when you don't know what else is coming. For example, if rollings or whites, if whites start appearing from the left side to the right side at this time, I'm not going to be able to see them from up here because, you know, my visibility is only here. It's hard to predict those things. So just be attentive when you do have blindness to go into one of the safe spots that we'll talk about in a second. Additionally, eyes. Black Mage is going to summon these cat eyes that will bounce like the DVD symbol. Back in the day, DVDs had this like little screensaver thing where it would like bounce back and forth to corners. Does exactly the same thing. It's not a huge deal because it inflicts Black Curse and only does chip damage if you're standing on top of it, and it can't move that far into the right or the left corners. It mostly stays in the middle, unless you are doing XBM, then that shit kind of sucks. Mostly stays in the middle, and this on top of his touch damage is going to be one of the reasons why things get a little difficult during one of the FMAs that we're going to talk about. Spikes also appear in this stage. They're going to have a little indicator if you want to call back This is very similar to the Cygnus, like one of the early game bosses, where she summons Dark Genesis on the floor. There's going to be an indicator, and then the Genesis actually pops up. During that time, when it's still on the floor, you can stand here. You're perfectly safe until the spike actually pulls up from the ground and stabs. That's when you're going to take the 90% HP. Just consider this 100%. Almost always it's going to kill you. So, as you can see in this little demo, they are using this right corner to dodge the spikes because the spikes literally cannot spawn in that corner. They can only spawn in the middle of the map. This goes for the left and right corners, but most of the time we're going to be using the right corner. And finally, the rollings. These are another white curse attack. They're always going to come from the top right and go to the bottom left. Once they hit the floor, they're going to change into this rolling mode, where they're going to disperse in both directions on the ground. The best way to dodge it is technically blink, but I mean, you can hop over it. And what a lot of people don't know is the smoke area right here is actually safe. If you encounter a rolling and you see it right here, I can simply hop over into the smoke and I'll be okay. The only part that does damage is the ball actually rolling. And this is great for classes with Dark Sight, mostly thieves, who can actually tank the flying part. You will not get cursed or you will not get hit. It's the same as any other meteor, right? Like in Darknell, you can tank the meteors. In Magnus, you can tank the meteors if you have Dark Sight. But the second that they hit the floor, Dark Sight does not work anymore. So be very cautious when that happens. They do 15% HP. Not a huge deal. Mostly it's the concern is White Curse. From this little demo right here, you can actually see everything going on. The eyes, the rollings, and the whites, a lot of patterns will stack on top of each other like that very commonly, so it's important to know how to dodge each one individually first and then find a way to get through them together. They keep rolling all the way until they hit the wall over there, and vice versa. If there are any that like go onto the left side, they'll also try to hit the left wall. All right, those are the basic attacks. Every minute, 70 seconds after you load in, and then like every subsequent minute, Black Mage is going to do one of 3 FMAs. These are full map attacks. Pay attention to the direction of his hand. That will indicate the safe spot. As you can see, circle equals safe spot, right? This is what's called left FMA. This is what's called left FMA. Whenever he raises the left side on my screen, this red circle right here, it's safe all the way on the left side. If he raises his purple on the right side, that it means it's safe on the right side. And if he raises both hands, 2 circles, that means it's safe in the middle. Left FMA means there's a tiny sliver of space, this triangle right here, that's safe. Same thing, right FMA, you have to get to the right side, there's a safe spot on the right, you can hug that corner. And remember, I was talking about how touch damage and eyes are the only scenario where things can get a little tricky during these FMAs because of mid FMA. So mid requires you to stand exactly on top of Black Mage. No big deal, right? Like you're only taking tiny bits of chip damage from touch or whatever. The eyes can also come in and do damage consecutively, damage over time to your character. So you have to be attentive that you are healing during that time with either a fountain, or if there's a bishop in your party, make sure that they're healing you. Or if you have a person with an untouchable skill that includes Mercedes, Fire Poison, those classes that have the untouchable debuff, they can prevent you from taking touch damage from Black Mage. So the only things you have to worry about are obviously the FMA itself and the eyes. I say the best trick for that usually is just kind of maneuver around this tiny triangle. You can't go out of it, and it's very obvious what like your space is. but you can aggro the eye a little bit to the left, move to the right, and then aggro it to the right, move to the left. Again, every single time one of those FMA happens, there's going to be a shield that comes up like in phase 1. This shield indicates the starting time of the next FMA. So what that means is if I see the timer right here, 56:48, that's when the shield appears. The next FMA will start at 55:48. The FMA is going to happen. There's going to be a little bit of time for the lightning to actually appear and do its thing there. And then I read the time again. A minute from then is the next FMA. The only exception is when you first come in, there is no shield. So the first FMA will happen 70 seconds, a minute and 10 seconds after you load in. Okay. So again, that was a lot, and this time we actually do have to pay attention to the strategy in this phase because we're not bursting out of P2, especially when you're first starting. I never would tell someone to use the left corner unless they are proficient with this fight and know what they're doing. Just completely rule out the idea of standing on this left corner because you are likely going to get hit by every single rolling, right? The rollings come from the top right and move to the bottom left. There's almost zero room for you to dodge that. In addition, because you are likely going to be chained, you're going to stay in Black Curse. If you get hit by one of those rollings, you are going to get White Curse. It's doomed. You're going to get stun locked, you're going to get Curse Death, and then likely not be able to recover from that, taking a HP death. So the better strategy is to stand closer to the right side. But you can't obviously stand in this corner 24/7 because you actually need to attack. So I generally recommend this area right here, to the bottom right of his foot. I usually leave a little fountain right there just to know that, hey, I can stand there, I can use my fountain to be safe, everything's all good, and then I can use the right corner to dodge certain attacks. Remember those spikes that we talked about earlier? They can be dodged with any of the corners. I can use the corner to dodge spikes if I'm not comfortable with standing on where they're appearing. In addition, when the rollings come, the rollings will always go from top right to bottom left, and then they're going to slide on the floor. They're going to disperse on the floor. If you use this right corner right here, you can blink on top of it without having to worry about the spikes. In addition to that, the whites this time are a little easier to dodge. You can see this yellow box right here and the white coming down. Each of these whites, if they start from the right side and go to the left side, like the ones demonstrated here, they're going to stop at an invisible box and not fully come down to the ground. This goes for this side as well. If the whites are coming from the top left and going to the right, they're going to be stopped before they hit the ground approximately here. So remember that situation in that one GIF where everything was kind of going on, it was really hectic, the rollings were coming down, the whites were coming down, whatever have you. That whole scenario can be alleviated simply by waiting in this right corner, blinking in the air for a second when you see the rollings coming down, because you won't get hit by the whites if the whites are coming from that side, and you won't get hit by the spikes because you're not in the middle area. You may have to will skill, you may have to heal during that time, but you know, that's the safest spot to be in. So as you can see in this little demo right here, just remind yourself, put a fountain at the right of his foot and leave some room for Jesus so that you can hop into any of these fields as needed. You can go to the left side preemptively for the FMA. You can go to the middle on top of him whenever mid FMA happens, and you can go to the right to dodge stuff or for right FMA. It's very accessible versus this limiting yourself to this one corner or just staying here the entire time and limiting yourself to that corner. So in this fight in particular, you may be asking, when do I actually do damage? Does it require DPM entirely because of the shield? I generally recommend people burst together after the shield appears. So after every minute, whenever the white shield appears, the next FMA is going to happen. If you happen to have burst, you and your party happen to have burst during that time, you guys say, hey, does everyone have burst? Are we good to burst after this FMA? Once the shield appears, you all burst, and then you play safe during the time after. That way you make sure that you get the best amount of damage as the shield is down. The shield isn't hard to break, but it's more so to make sure that everybody gets the most out of their burst. And if you're bursting during the middle of a segment, like maybe there's 30 seconds left on an FMA, you may actually lose out a little bit of damage having to move to one of the safe spots for an FMA, or losing a little bit of damage during the time that you have to play safe against spikes or chains or whatever have you. Okay, that was a lot of information to synthesize, but we're going to break everything down with actually doing a demo. So if you are interested in seeing what Black Mage is like, please meet at Channel 5 in the boss map. As everyone is gathering, does anyone have any questions about the fight? Anything else we should cover?
I wrote down a few questions that I have personally. Like, myself have always only been solo bossing. I haven't done any group content whatsoever. So I'm not used to the group dynamic and whatnot here. My first question is, if you're always in Black Curse there, how are you intended to survive the constant chip damage?
Great question. Black Curse is identical to Will Phase 2, or the entire Vihilla fight, where you are potion locked. There are times when Black Curse actually goes down. You're not always in Black Curse, but just assume that you're always in Black Curse. You can press your heal button during the times that Black Curse is off. So what a lot of people will do is they'll actually try to dodge every single Black Curse attack during the times that they feel like, oh, I don't have a lot of HP. Using the downtime, like when the curse is no longer over your head, you can heal during that time and then come back into the fight. Or you can use Fountain. Fountain bypasses the Black Curse.
In a video that I saw, in Will, you could use Healing Familiars to mitigate that, whereas in Black Mage, supposedly they don't work.
They do work, but there are so many attacks. In Vihilla, it's rather... the attacks are rather slow. They're very telegraphed. Versus in here, there's a lot going on, as you kind of saw in the GIFs, right? Like, things are all coming at you all at once, and there's not a lot of time to play safe or hide in a corner or something like that. You can use healing fams, but I don't recommend it because with the recent familiar changes, you can't kind of like resummon them to make sure that you're healing faster.
Okay, I've never done Vihilla, so I don't know any of those references.
Just know that it's a little more telegraphed in that one. You can use fams for either or, but in Black Mage in particular, there's too much going on. Don't rely on like a 10% heal every 10 seconds.
Okay. Next thing I wanted more clarification about the whole curse system and curse death. It wasn't made clear if curse death equals player death.
Curse death does not equal... sorry, I used the term HP death. Maybe a little confusing. Curse death means... We're going to go all the way back to the start. Curse death means that one of your lives is going to be taken from your total 12 lives. You are going to get skill locked, but you are not going to die unless you take enough damage for an HP death. Then you'll take 2 lives. So just remember, curse death and HP death can all remove 1 orb from your 12. But curse death does not mean you actually die out of lives. That just means you get stun locked by taking 2 of the curses at the same time.
So essentially, it just means you have more ways of losing lives.
Correct. Great questions.
Why is it recommended by so many to just burst phase 1 and be rid of it? Is phase 1 not easily doable otherwise?
Most people agree, especially when you're soloing, that phase 1 is the hardest phase of the fight. there's just a lot going on mechanically, and today I'm only kind of showcasing the party scenario. This is kind of like a tutorial video for people who are approaching Black Mage. If you ever wanted to actually solo Black Mage and kind of see how P1 plays in full, we can kind of discuss that separately, or if anyone who's watching this video later, you can ask in one of the bossing channels to say like, hey, can someone please help me through P1? It's a lot more difficult to actually play it in full than it seems, because, you know, like most of us at first only learn how to burst out of it.
Yeah, that was my biggest issue. I couldn't find a guide that talked about P1. Oh, just burst it. Oh, that doesn't help.
Okay. We can kind of break that down as we're still here. What you are likely going to do in P1 is you're going to spawn in the middle. I'm just going to give the scenario that you are fighting by yourself. So you are the only person who's going to draw aggro. You can keep these things on because it's just you. You're going to be the binder, you're going to be the DPS, right? You're going to gather them to stack bind together. They're going to be bound together. And then you're going to burst. Because your burst is not going to fully send you into P2, you have to wait for your next burst. During that time, all of these attacks are going to happen. His rush, or the Knight's rush, the Knight's swing, the Knight's dives. These are very easily telegraphed. But on top of that, there's still those field effects, right? The chains, the whites, and the lightning and the walls. You have to watch out for all those things simultaneously. The walls are only going to appear every few, like 30 seconds or so, minute. The lightning is going to appear a little more frequently, like closer to 45. But the chains are persistent. The whites are persistent. The knights are following you at the same time. If they get, if you are staying on the black knight, for example, and the white knight dives on you, you likely will take a curse death because you are fighting the black knight. You're likely getting hit by chains at the same time. You have black curse. You get hit by anything from the white knight, and you know that's a curse death. Curse death means you're skill locked, and you're likely going to take more deaths from that. So it's just kind of the waiting game and having to play it safe. We can do that in one of the demos, actually show how P1 plays for real, and then burst out and show P2.
Yeah, well, it didn't have to be now. I was just curious about why didn't no one talk about it. That was all. Okay.
Yeah, this is kind of like a tutorial for people who are first starting the fight. It's not something that you have to learn, so you don't get super overwhelmed with how many things that there are in phases 2 and 3. People who are first learning the fight find phase 3 the most difficult, so, you know, like pulling any attention towards that phase instead of worrying about all the mechanics in phase 1 is really important for people to just literally pick up phase 3. Okay.
Personally, that's all I got.
Yeah, those were great questions. Does anyone have anything else? Any notes? Anything they want to add?
Wait, do you care if I call on a character that's like definitely not BM ready, but like, because like my main's in Challenger World, and I'm not left yet.
Well,
like I do want to like just like play the boss and like get used to stuff.
Nowadays, it's kind of hard to tell exactly when you're ready without a scouter percentage. Back in the day, we used to do BAs to tell battle analyses to tell exactly what we're doing, and it would show like how much damage you did per second, and there was like a cutoff for how much you needed to do before you can actually participate in Black Mage. Nowadays, I would say around 50 is at like bare minimum contribution to Black Mage. I noticed that when the CP system first came to the game, most people were closer to like 70 mil CP to start. You can start a lot earlier if you know the mechanics, but if you want to be like full damage contribution, you guys are all about the same. You want a safer fight and to get out of P1 easily, I would say in the range of like 70 mil CP, 270 plus, max Arcane Force. Sorry, does that answer your question?
Oh, No, I'm saying like for the demo. Do you care if I come with a demo?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Of course. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I did my scouter and I didn't do it recently, so like I don't know, but I know how to use scout. Like
Yeah,
how to
perfect.
tell.
Yeah, don't worry about damage today. We're just going to demo what the fight looks like.
Okay.
All right.
Is there a link for a scouter anywhere?
Is there a what counter?
A link to that scouter site?
Yes, I will link it in VC right now.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, now that we are all at Black Mage, let me get y'all in a party. Could you leave your party, please? I'll get you in. Yeah.
I just did.
Okay. So we're outside of the boss fight. It's no big deal. We have to set up our summons, whatever have you. I don't have my pet, so it's okay. But let's go into the pop room. Practice mode, all my buffs. Hard mode, practice. You guys already know the drill. In here, we pop up, we do our buffs. The last check I always do in Black Mage is make sure that my summons and fams are off if I am not the binder. In this case, I will be the binder just to do the demonstration, but everybody else, make sure your fams, summons, auras are all off and that you are not taking aggro from any of the knights. Okay, is everyone ready for the fight? Please give me your R's. That means type your R in the chat whenever you are ready to go in. Okay. You'll be ready, don't worry.
So we just jumping as far I'm guessing I'm not binding, so I'm just jumping as far right as I possibly can, as quick as I can.
Not completely far right. Remember those two bulbs in the background? Make sure you are on the right side of the right bulb.
Like the right side of the
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go in 3, 2, 1, going. Y'all hop to the right, please, while I bind. Don't do any sort of like teleport mastery attacks or anything like that either. Make sure you don't take any sort of aggro. You can see that they appear right there. I'm just gonna attack to aggro them. They're going to be stacked together. They are bound. Y'all feel free to come and burst. Oh, the other one is not bound. I'm so sorry. All right, let's bind. Usually they would be bound if I didn't mess up there and we would one burst out. But you get the drill. Like, the person who is binding gives the comms, everybody else just be ready to hop back and immediately burst whenever you are in, whenever both of them are bound. As a reminder, I set my fountain for the party to the bottom right of his foot. These are spikes. We're going to do callouts for them. Spikes. Chains you do not have to call out because they happen a lot. Spikes. You can stand on any of the spots before the spike pops up. A lot of chains. Great job using fountain. Spikes. Those are eyes, but you do not have to call them. You can kind of see them. Spikes.
Wait, those are the white, right? Those are the Blackhurst ones?
Eyes give black curse, yes. Whites are coming from left to right and rollings at the same time. Make sure you walk through the space and then hover above the air over the rollings. Spikes. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't call FMA. That's FMA. That was left FMA. Whenever that happens, make sure you are standing on the appropriate side where he's raising his arm. So that was left FMA. Does everyone have burst? Would we like to try to burst here? Now that the shield.
I got 10 seconds.
It's gonna be in a few seconds.
Okay, that's perfect.
Okay, should be good.
10 seconds is all good.
And we're good.
Y'all feel free to origin. The origin bind doesn't do anything, but just, you know, as a demonstration of we're bursting. We're doing a lot of damage bursting. Whites are coming from the left to the right. Spikes. Rollings. I'm also blinded. I'm going to use this corner as a little bit of a demo, so I can blink right here, be safe from the spikes and the rollings. Hop back in, heal myself, and then continue fighting. Left FMA, left, 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 come left.
Oh, that's quick. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Make it.
It takes a little bit of practice, don't worry. Shields up at 41.
Yeah.
The next FMA will happen at 55-41. Gonna put a fountain back up. Spikes. Whites. Good job. Spikes. And rollings. After a rolling set of rollings appear, you can use this left corner to dodge for about 40 seconds until the next set appear, but do not rely on left corner. Spikes. Can't see anything. Spikes. FMA is going to happen soon. Watch out for his arm.
It was
Left FMA again. Left, left, left. Great job.
I find it helps more to call when his arms are going to signal it rather than just say that when you know what
30?
direction it is. I don't know. For me, it helps better.
Yeah,
I
you definitely have to find out what works for you. What may work for you may not work for a lot of people. So it's about communicating with your party and saying like, hey, this really is helpful for me. If you guys could we try doing this? Whites. Spikes. Rollings. The next FMA will be at approximately 54, like 40 on the clock. 10 seconds till FMA. Spikes. Watch out for FMA soon. I don't remember the exact time.
right hand.
I'm blind.
We're good. Me lying.
Or was it not right?
Oh,
It's
left,
not.
left, left.
Oh, left.
Oh.
left.
Oh, but he phased.
But we're out.
Oh.
Okay. Would you guys like to do a little bit of P3 or do
I got 3 lives left, so.
We'll just kind of see a little bit of it.
I got 6.
2.
Oh, now I'm at
Rollings.
5.
It's all good.
Oh, but you can heal now. Oh no, you can't.
You can heal whenever you do not have a curse on top of your head. It's mostly like assuming that you are in Black Curse most of the time. Suck. Nice. Rollings. Supers. Okay. That was
I'm
a
totally
short
dead.
glimpse into what we're gonna do next week. Let's go ahead and leave.
Alright.
And this time I'm going to put on my drop gear so I'm not overkilling people.
Oh, there's a failing animation after his coup.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. This time we're going to go in and actually demo what full P1 looks like. So what's going to happen is y'all feel free to come and burst with me. I'm just not going to burst us out of P1. Once they're bound, we're going to kind of separate and make sure that we are standing away from any of the white cursed items. That includes the white knight, the white meteors, whatever have you, and just kind of play a little bit of P1 and see what it's like. If like if we die out, it's no big deal. We can re-enter and try to see P2 again. But I just want to give a little bit of a demo of what P1 really looks like for a party that is like a little under spec, but trying to go through it for real.
So at this point, then you have to treat the white knight like a hot potato. You avoid like the plague while you try to focus on black until that one's taken care of, and then do the white.
Yeah.
Okay.
Y'all ready? Please type your R's. That's okay. Let's go. Again, hop into the same position. Make sure you are on the right side of that bulb in the background. I will do the bind, and hopefully I do properly this time. They are bound, and they're bound together. Great. This is where we would burst, but I'm not going to, just to demo. And then origin, but we're not going to, because it's just a demo. And now start avoiding the white one. If you need to, stay on the black. Whites are coming from the left side. Will skill, because I have white curse, and I won't get hit by the chains, or take a curse from the chains. Putting a fountain up. They're gonna dive. Whites, white and black are in mid. They are stacked. That's when they are on top of each other and they're gonna come rushing. Whites from the left. They're going to the right. Be careful. Wall, lightning.
Ding.
Remember, you cannot pass through these unless you have a.
Oh, you can't pass through. Okay, I thought it was like the thing from P2.
No. You have to wait until they're down and use the space in between to dodge stuff.
That makes the falling thing
We
a
could,
lot harder to dodge.
Can you tele through them?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Can you teleport through them?
You can teleport through it. It has to be like a real teleport. They're on top of each other, they're stacked, be careful. Whenever they are stacked like that, if black rushes and then white rushes at the same time, you will get both curses inflicted on you if you get hit by both. Just be careful when they're stacked.
Oh, like that.
Whites. And then, I would be like, hey, guys, I have my burst up. Are we ready to burst? And, you guys would have one person bind them optimally on top of each other. It's kind of hard to say.
Okay. 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeeps.
The Shrieking Wall banner appeared, so that means these walls are going to start
on.
closing in. As you can see, that one just popped up. The
Oh,
other side,
okay, I see.
Lightning.
They're not destructible, okay.
Whites. I'm going to put a fountain right here for us, since we're all here. Chains. There's a lot of chains. Whites. All right. After these whites pass, I'm going to go ahead and get us out of this phase so we can see P2 one more time. Yeah. Small glimpse into P1, but we were only in there for maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes. It's a lot more difficult when you have to, when the walls close in on you and you have to stay in there for like good 5-6 minutes. I didn't catch timer when we came in, but first FMA should be around like 45.
It's probably like, yeah.
Spikes. If y'all are getting used to the mechanics, try to call out spikes, rollings, whites. Spikes? If not, no big deal. Spikes?
Spikes.
Use this left corner.
Oh, I died by some.
Spikes?
Spikes.
Whites also. because I couldn't pass that, I hit will skill and just made sure that I took the HP damage. Oh, well.
Oh.
Well. Rollings. Get ready for FMA pretty soon. Okay, mid FMA.
Oh,
there are no
no.
eyes. That's completely fine. Oh, did they get rid of his? No, we have a Mercedes. That's why we're not getting touch damage. Yeah. But usually if you're here, you don't have a class with untouchable. 28 or 29-ish for next FMA. That means 54, 29-ish is when
Spikes.
the next FMA will happen. Okay. How long until y'all have burst?
I have it.
Oh,
Okay.
I
Spikes.
used it a bit ago. I got 40.
That's okay. We can wait until everyone's burst is up just to demo how a real burst is going to go. Whites, we'll continue to wait until everyone has their burst up.
Oh.
Spikes. Careful. As you can see, every time I have rollings, every time I have blind, I try to kind of resort to this corner. It's just a lot safer than having to, you know, like feel my way through the spikes.
Spike.
Spikes.
Left FMA. Left. Nice. Oh, no.
Oh.
So close.
No, I
18 for next FMA. 53-18. Fountains up.
Burst is ready.
Okay, let's go ahead and burst.
Spikes.
This is where we would unload all the damage. Whites.
Spikes.
Rollings. Nice.
Oh.
Just going to blink. Spikes. Oh. FMA in approximately 10 seconds. Spikes.
Spikes.
Keep an eye
Oh,
out
what
for his
tool did
hand.
there?
FMA mid. Okay, this is a great demo because the eyes are here. Assuming that we didn't have a Mercedes, we would also be taking damage from the eyes, and I put a fountain down on the right side, use it to heal past it, and chip damage.
Oof. Yeah, that was scary.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to dodge that. So make sure that any of your party members who have any sort of healing skills, shield skills, pop those things during mid FMA with eyes.
Spikes.
Rollings.
Oh.
Whites. Whee!
Spikes.
Okay, I'm gonna demo right here. There's an invisible plat, as you can see right there, where the meteor is going to fall off before it actually hits the ground. I actually took an HP death from chains. FMA in less than 10, probably. Spikes.
What?
No.
Oh, that's not left? Oh,
No.
what is that?
Left FMA?
Now it
Oh,
is.
now-
Now it is. Yeah, it'll be a bigger circle that's more like highlighted. It's more prominent.
My biggest gripe with Ren is the damn dash forward is sometimes backwards.
Yeah.
Oh.
52.
And I forget if I've used it again or not.
So now we will like burst
Do
again.
yeah. Do y'all have burst? We
Yeah.
can go ahead
Yeah.
and burst.
Yeah.
Feel free. Okay, we're gonna break the shield together. Go, 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 go. Nice spikes. Be careful when you get out of origin. Rollings. Whites from the right.
Spikes. Oh,
Nice.
just HP death. Oh, I died.
That's okay. This phase takes a lot of practice. That's
Yeah,
pretty-
like I don't think I was taking any like. I only had like 1 or 2 curse deaths, but I just kept taking HP deaths.
yeah.
Same. Me, it's the rollings I really struggle with.
What exactly are you struggling with? Maybe we can find some tips and strategies just in case people also are struggling with the same thing.
Like that.
Yeah,
Like,
just
how was I supposed to dodge those beams and the rollings?
Great question. We're gonna assume this is P2 and the beams are chains. You do not worry about the chains as much because they do 15% HP damage each and are Black Curse. You worry about the rollings. How I generally do it is I find a spot in the air that's away from all the stuff that's happening, usually in a corner, and I blink in the air until the rollings pass on the floor, just like that, if you're watching the stream.
Okay.
I wait for all the rollings to pass. Sometimes your blink doesn't last that long. What that means is you have to practice timing your blink so that you are using the blink basically at the start of when the rollings are about to come towards you. Or if you have any sort of air stall, I know both Mercedes and Ren have a little bit of air stall, they can use that as an option to pass it. Again, remember that the only portion of the rolling that does any sort of damage is the ball itself on the ground. The smoke doesn't. So what happens is maybe you can see a rolling come towards you, you can likely bunny hop over it and stand, right, exactly, like on the smoke trail and not get hit. Same thing with Mercedes, right? Like you can do your leap tornado, get a little bit of air stall, and then bypass, yeah, exactly, bypass all the rollings on the floor. Yeah, just a quick demo of what P1 and P2 look like. Does anyone have any sort of questions? Do y'all have any sort of questions?
This is just gonna need me more practice, is all it means. But I'm definitely not the strength required for this yet. But this is fun learning.
Yeah, no, this is our way of making sure that everybody is ready for all of these fights, whenever they hit damage, whenever they want to progress towards it. Don't worry too much about your progression, especially going into phase 3 and 4 next week. Damage is not an issue. We're just here to learn, right? All right. That is it for today.
Wait, so what do you do if you're a class that can't just sit on the fountain the whole time?
If your class can't sit on the fountain the entire time, what do you mean?
Yeah, with Mercedes or I play Blaster as well. You're not I'm not just standing still during burst or in general.
Yeah.
Like zero, where your
if I'm
attacks
trying to
actually
do the
move
most
you.
damage, I want to not be standing on the fountain.
Right.
So
I
guess how do you avoid HP deaths when you're playing a class like that?
Yeah. I'm gonna go back and we're going to assume that this is in a party setting. You want to, I call it playing safe. Most people also call it playing safe. What this means is you focus on survival first and damage second.
Okay.
In a 6-man party, when you are first learning and practicing this fight, you are going to practice playing safe. That means the only time you really need to push for damage and move all over the place is during your burst. That is immediately after an FMA. There's not, too many things going on, hopefully. So you can focus on doing the damage and moving around and then using the fountain sparingly during that time. Afterwards, you just play safe, you hit your hurricane button, or for any class that has to move around like Blaster, you hit whatever button that keeps you stationary close to the fountain. Enough for you to get into the corner and dodge, obviously. But you want to use the fountain and stay as safe as possible during all the downtime until your next burst. That's only assuming you are first learning this fight. Once you are more used to the phases and able to do damage, my recommendation is always look at your HP bar in your peripheral, and anytime you take any sort of chip damage that does maybe a little more than 60% of your HP, make sure that you are ready to go to the fountain. Make sure your button is your finger is on the iframe button, will skill button, whatever have you, to get you to the fountain to heal up. Or if you can't reach the fountain, for example, you're on a weird location on the map, you can dodge chains long enough so that the curse over your head disappears. That you don't have any sort of black curse on you, and then you hit your potion button manually. Those are, I guess, the two strategies I would recommend for classes that have to move around a lot. You would have to watch a specific, in your case, like a Mercedes video to actually see what they're doing. I can't give a, like a catch-all for every single class because every single class plays a little differently. But starting off, recommendation, make sure you are playing safe.
Got it.
Yeah. All right. I think that will conclude today's session. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you guys found it informative, and we're going to pick right back up with phases 3 and 4 next week. So I hope to see y'all there.
Give me an insight on something I'm not ready yet. So, yay!
No, you'll be ready for next week. Don't worry. All right. Thank you.